acho que nunca disse.
Let's get this party started!
NFL Game Pass is now exclusively on DAZN.
Let's get this thing going.
Watch every game, plus the playoffs and Super Bowl.
To the end zone. What a play!
It's your all-access pass.
That's how you fight a southpaw. Well on his way to coming back.
Katie Taylor does it again. Look at the emotion.
Boxing on DAZN, brought to you by William Hill.
I started out in Teesside, but where I went next is classified. I've trained on kit that doesn't officially exist. Been places you won't find on a map. And did it all with people I was never with. I've come a long way for someone who's never officially been anywhere. I was born in Teesside, but that's about as much as I can tell you.
200 miles per hour, 300 sensors, 1.1 million data points a second, sent instantly to the AWS cloud, so AI can generate insights for F1 in real time, to keep millions of fans on the edge of their seats. Generative AI on AWS, a new era of racing, a new era of business.
Boxing on DAZN, brought to you by William Hill.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. From the four corners of the world, to the four corners of this ring, the fight starts now!
Touchdown!
How do you like it?
Off the shoulder. So aggressive, so focused.
Look at these two guys! Still the undisputed champion of the world!
Well, a very good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Fight Week in the English capital. It's, of course, Friday, and that means it's weigh-in day, and where better to be than in the spiritual home of British boxing, York Hall, in the heart of London's East End. Jamie Ward alongside me, as always, former IBF World Middleweight Champion, Mr. Darren Barker. Darren, so to say, the atmosphere building nicely in here. You were very quick to remind me, as you always do, how many times you've boxed in this famous old hall, both amateur and pro, but it seems this Friday afternoon it's the place to be once again.
Jamie, this place is proper. This is a proper boxing venue. East End's finest, and yeah, they're making themselves heard.
For Johnny Fisher, that he's a calm, cool and collected figure throughout the whole build-up and yesterday as well at the press conference. But this is his biggest test, his biggest platform, the biggest stage of his young 11-fight career. Do you expect when he walks onto this stage, and particularly when he makes his ring walk tomorrow night at the Copper Box, everything's going to probably feel a little bit more real?
This is how you build experience. This is how you become a better fighter mentally it will do him the world of good. And when you've got this sort of support behind you, there's nothing to worry about, Jamie.
Are you going to have to do a few breathing exercises tomorrow? Because you're a massive England fan. You're going to have to keep calm on the commentary desk, I think.
Yeah, looking forward to it. What a night of sport we've got for you tomorrow.
Well, as I said yesterday, as if we needed to remind you of tomorrow's stacked itinerary, we're going to do just that. Have a little look of what is coming your way. 4:40 p.m, a 4-round heavyweight affair kicks things off on Before the Bell, Matchroom and DAZN YouTube channel. Barnett's Louis Pochetti meets Amin Boussetta. Do you know what? I knew you were going to say that. Before the Bell, of course, will then pause because it's the quarterfinals of the Euros. It's England versus Switzerland. The first half will be shown live for those watching inside the copper box. Before the Bell will then return at 5:45 p.m. during the football half-time period with hard-hitting 5-0, 5 KOs Essex middleweight Jimmy Sains, who fights just 7 days after his last victory. He's in with Damien Lesoudre of France over 6 rounds. On the back of Sains versus Lesoudre, the second half of England versus Switzerland will then commence, and upon the football finishing, we'll roll straight into the live DAZN broadcast at the usual time of 7 p.m. And opening the live DAZN broadcast, as I say, 7 p.m, 3-0, 3 KOs. Young Giorgio Vicioli looks to extend his perfect start to life as a professional when he meets Tampella Maharisi over 6 super featherweight rounds. Maisie Rose Courtney then takes the leap of faith in her 7th professional contest. First 10-rounder and first title fight for her. Jasmina Sopotochna, the opponent, the WBA International Flyweight title, is the prize. 22-year-old southpaw John Hedges also steps up to the 10-round distance in what is also his first title fight. He makes 5-0 Lewis Oakford for the vacant Southern Area Cruiserweight title. And what a slot and what an opportunity this is for 19-year-old Lely Buttigieg, just 4-0. He fights for the 3rd time this year against Jiri Hauka over 6 super welterweight rounds before your chief support, Reece Bellotti, returns after February's early candidate for Fight of the Year with Liam Dillon to defend his unified status as British and Commonwealth super featherweight champion for the first time against 15-1 Levi Giles over 12 rounds. Do not blink in that one. Before, of course, your main event. Call it chaos, call it carnage, call it whatever you want. This is it. Johnny Fisher puts his perfect 11-0 record on the line against the man they call the Savage, Alen Babic. 21 knockouts between them through 24 fights. Make of that what you will. It's 10 rounds at heavyweight. Bring it on. And as you can see, up on the stage behind us, we are just about ready to get today's weigh-in underway. So without further ado, here is our master of ceremony, our very own Mr. David Diamante.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome everybody here to the spiritual home of British boxing, York Hall in the East End of London, England, for the official weigh-in for our big night of world-class professional boxing taking place at the Copper Box here on Saturday night. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. On the night, we're sponsored by Betfred, Stagefront, Everlast, Forged Irish Stout, Riyadh Season, and Drip. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an exciting fight card. We have 8 fights on the card in total. Of course, we got the quarterfinal, England v. Switzerland. And at the top of the bill, 3 title fights, by the way, and at the top of the bill, it's the Romford Bull versus the Savage, Johnny Fisher, against Alen Babic, England v. Croatia. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring the fighters up to the stage so they can face the scale and face each other. Our first contest, 4 rounds in the heavyweight division. Now making his way to the stage, his professional record, 8 victories, 13 defeats, fighting out of Ghent, Belgium. Please welcome Amin, the Beast Boussetta. And his opponent now making his way to the stage, his young professional record thus far perfect. 2 fights, 2 victories, and both of those victories come by way of knockout. He fights out of Barnet, London. Please welcome Louis Destruction Pochetti. Now to the scale, Amin, the Beast Boussetta. 232.6 for Busetta, 232.6. And now to the scale, destruction, Louis Puccetti. 216.6 for Puccetti, 216.6.
There with Barnett, Darren. 2-0, 2 KOs will open before the bell, 4:40 p.m.
Face to face, boys.
I imagine he's immediately one of your favourites, Darren, being a Barnett boy.
The Barnett. Yeah, very good fighter. Very good talent in a division that very quickly is going to be looking for the next.
Puccetti versus Busetta, 4 rounds, heavyweights, matchroom boxing, live on DAZN from London, England.
Busetta took Emmanuel Odiaza 6 rounds in February on the Reece Bellotti card, who of course also returns on Saturday night. Was stopped by Moses Atalma last year. Puccetti, no doubt, will be looking to do much of the same. Let's continue the weigh-in. Back to David.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our next contest, 6 rounds in the middleweight division. Now making his way to the stage, professional record, 3 victories, 1 defeat, 1 draw with 1 win coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Toulon, France. Please welcome Damien Carpenter Lecoudre. Lecoudre. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. Perfect professional record, 5 fights, 5 victories, all 5 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the 4-time national champion and the GB Elite 3 Nations champion, fighting out of Brentwood, Essex, England, Jimmy Sains. Sains. Now to the scale, Carpenter, Damien Lecoudre. $161.5 for Lecoudre, 161.5. Now to the scale, the undefeated Jimmy Sains. $163.1 for Jimmy Sains. 163.1.
Last Saturday in the headline act at the Brentwood Centre. He'd have loved that experience, wouldn't he, last week, being the main event?
Oh, yeah, he would have. And to be busy, be fighting the following weekend is exactly what you want. And what a slot he's got at half-time. Usually you're twiddling your thumbs, you don't know what you do with yourself. You get to watch one of Britain's shining stars.
Sains versus Lecoudre, 6 rounds, middleweights, matchroom boxing, live on DAZN from London, England.
What impact do you expect that to maybe have on Jimmy Sains? Because I guess he'll be more than ever looking to get out there and win the fight emphatically to get the crowd going.
Yeah, I think so. He'll want to be quick, he'll want to get the job done, but what a great opportunity at a moment to fight. The arena is going to be busy, it's going to be rowdy, it's going to be noisy, and that's what you want. You're going to be fighting in front of those sort of atmospheres.
Yeah, approximately 5:45 p.m. for the 6th fight of young Jimmy Sains in the half-time period during England versus Switzerland. On the back of the football, of course, the live DAZN broadcast will start at the usual time of 7 p.m. with another highly rated prospect.
All right, our next contest, 6 rounds, super featherweights. Now coming to the stage, his professional record, 10 victories, 6 defeats, 4 draws with 5 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Please welcome Tampella Maruz. Maruz. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. Young professional record, perfect. 3-0, all 3 wins by knockout. Fighting out of Aldershot, Hampshire, Giorgio Vizioli. And out of the scale, Tampella Maruz. $133.4 for Maruz. 133.4. Now to scale, the young undefeated Giorgio Vizioli. $133.8 for Giorgio Vizioli.
3 knockout wins, and much like Jimmy Sains, as we said, has looked really good. Really impressive, hasn't he? In there with Maharuz. Tomorrow night he's taken the likes of Jordan Flynn and Leon Woodstock last time out the distance. A solid step in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been so impressed with Giorgio. I really have. The speed, the accuracy, the know-how and the power has been so evident. A real talent, one to watch. Don't blink.
Vizioli versus Maruz, 6 rounds, super featherweights, matchroom boxing, live on DAZN from London, England.
Vizioli, of course, now trained by Mark Tibbs alongside Johnny Fisher in Essex. Can he open the broadcast in style tomorrow night? Look forward to seeing him back in the ring. One fighter looking to really capture the attention and maiden gold in the process is Maisie Rose Courtney. Back to David, who is on the stage.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the next contest, our first title fight for the night, 10 rounds for the WBA International Flyweight Championship. Now making her way to the stage, her professional record, 7 victories, only 1 defeat. Fighting out of Wakefield, Yorkshire, by way of Poland. Please welcome Jasmina Zapatochna. And her opponent now making her way to the stage, her professional record, perfect. 6-0, fighting out of Elton, London, the 6-time national champion, Maisie Rose. Now to the scale, Jasmina Zapatochna. $111.6 for Zapatochna, 111.6. And out of the scale, the undefeated Maisie Rose. Also 111.6 for Maisie Rose, 111.6.
Both fighters down weighing in inside the flyweight championship weight limit. We've seen, Darren, when you talk about what we've seen of Maisie Rose so far, perhaps just allowed herself to get dragged in at times. What will be important in this fight against a fighter like Jasmina Zapatochna?
Yeah, patience. I guess confidence in your own ability as well. You don't have to go and rush anything, but this is a brilliant fight. This is similar to the main event as far as fireworks and carnage is concerned. I just think stylistically they're going to gel, and it's going to be all action from that first bell.
Rose versus Zapatochna, 10 rounds for the WBA International Flyweight Championship, matchroom boxing, live on DAZN from London, England.
Yep, looking forward to this one. Maisie Rose Courtney versus Jasmina Zapatochna, 10 2-minute rounds for the WBA International Flyweight title. From one title fight to another, young John Hedges also takes the step up tomorrow night. First 10-rounder, first title fight for him in with an unbeaten opponent. Here's David Diamante to bring them in.
All right, the second of our 3 title fights. We're going to go 10 rounds for the Southern Area Cruiserweight Championship. Now making his way to the stage, perfect professional record, 5-0. He fights out of London, England. Please welcome the mighty Oak, Lewis Oakford. Oakford. And his opponent, also perfect professional record, 9-0 with 3 knockouts. He fights out of Takeley, England. Here is the gentleman, John J. Hedges. And out of the scale, the mighty Oak, Lewis Oakford. .197.1 for the mighty Oak, Lewis Oakford. 197.1. And out of the scale, the undefeated gentleman, John J. Hedges. The gentleman, John J. Hedges, 199 even.
99 now, also, of course, a stablemate of Johnny Fisher's, under the guidance of Mark Tibbs, who's on the stage with him there. First 10 round, the first title fight for John Hedges. And Darren, you've talked about the meaning of winning that Southern Area title and what it does, just in terms of validating that you belong on this big stage. At the age of 22, we're going to find out a lot about John Hedges tomorrow.
It's a proper title, it's a prestigious title. It's been around a long time. It means an awful lot. And it's a very good fight that somebody's owed has to go. Just gives clout as well to the Southern Area title. The 2 unbeaten fighters are challenging for it. Stylistically, I think this is going to gel. Oakford, a very good fighter. We've seen how good John Hedges is. Brilliant, brilliant contest.
The gentleman, John J. Hedges, the mighty Oak, Lewis Oakford, 2 undefeateds by for the British, for the Southern Area Cruiserweight Championship. Matchroom Boxing live on DAZN from London, England.
As David said, Southern Area Cruiserweight title on the line, Hedges versus Oakford. Ring walk's expected somewhere around 8:20 tomorrow evening in East London for that one. A big moment for this young man, Alen Babic, who finds himself all the way up the card. Here's David to bring him back up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the weigh-in continues as we go 6 rounds in the super welterweight division. Now making his way to the stage, professional record, 4 victories, 4 defeats, with 2 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of DAZN in the Czech Republic. Please welcome Jiří Hauka. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. Perfect professional record, 4-0 with 1 knockout. The 4-time national champion, fighting out of Newham, London, the Maltese monster, Alen Babic. Now to the scale, Jiří Hauka. .156.6 for Hauka. 156.6. And out of the scale, the undefeated Alen Babic. .157.8 for the undefeated Maltese monster, Alen Babic.
That fight this year for 19-year-old Alen Babic, trained by Al Smith and Eddie Lamb. Sold over 340 tickets, Darren, and what an opportunity for him tomorrow. Finds himself in a brilliant slot on the card. It's going to be a pretty much capacity crowd by the time that Lenny makes his ring walk. This is a huge opportunity for him and a big moment.
Yeah, what buzz. He's from round the corner from the Copper Box. This is a local venue, and I've been so impressed with his improvement. You know, still such a young lad, but looking very good, very dangerous, physically maturing with every fight. A dangerous, dangerous boxer, that's for sure.
Lately Buddy Jed, Yiji Hauka, 6 rounds, super welterweights, matchroom boxing, live on the zone from London, England.
Homecoming for Lely, having boxed on the road in Belfast twice, Sheffield and Leeds, as you say, Darren, a very local slot for him. And that's certainly contributed to the amount of tickets he has sold for professional fight number 5, tomorrow night live on DAZN. Buttigieg versus Hauka will lead us very nicely into the chief support. And I don't think that one can disappoint either, because we're seeing a bit of a swan song, aren't we, for Reece Bellotti. He is in the form of his life right now. And here is David Diamante to welcome the chief support to the stage.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to weigh in the chief support of the evening as we go 12 rounds for the British and Commonwealth Super Featherweight Championship. Now making his way to the stage, please welcome the challenger. His professional record, 15 victories, only 1 defeat. He has 4 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Grimsby, Lincolnshire. Please welcome Levi Giles. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. He is the defending champion. Professional record, 18 victories, 5 defeats, with 14 of his 18 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of South Oxy, Watford, here is the reigning and defending British and Commonwealth Super Featherweight Champion, Reece the Bomber Bellotti. Now to the scale, Levi Giles. $129.7 for the challenger, Levi Giles. And now to the scale, the defending champion, Reece the Bomber Bellotti. $129.4 for the defending champion, Reece Bellotti. $129.4.
Certainly a fan favourite is Reece Bellotti. Captured that British title, a belt he'd always wanted, in February. And certainly, Darren, one of the most thrilling fights we've seen from ringside this year against Liam Dillon. I think you were exhausted just commentating.
Oh, what a fight that was. And this promises to be something similar. Giles, very good fighter. He can fight coming forward, going backwards. Very accomplished, but Reece Bellotti very rarely in a boring fight. He's a proud British champion who wants to hold on to the belt, so it promises to be pure carnage.
Crazy to think Reece stopped Dean Dodge right here at York Hall just over 2 years ago to win the Southern Area title. Funny old game, this boxing.
Reece Bomber Bellotti, Levi Giles, 12 rounds for the British and Commonwealth Super Featherweight Championship, Matchroom Boxing, live on DAZN from London, England.
There is so much to look forward to right now on DAZN. Of course, starting on Saturday night, Johnny Fisher versus Alen Babic, but have a little look at what is coming your way by the way of big fights. Of course, Jerome Boots Ennis defends his IBF World Welterweight title for the first time next weekend in Philadelphia against Danger Man David Avanesian. Jake Paul, Mike Perry on July 20th, before a little trip to LA for Terence Crawford against Israel Madrimov on Saturday, August the 3rd, followed by a stroll down Wembley Way as Anthony Joshua looks to become a 3-time world heavyweight champion when he collides with Daniel Dubois atop a special card at the National Stadium, Wembley. So much to look forward to on DAZN. I get the feeling the noise levels in here, Darren, might be about to go that bit louder. Here is David Diamante for the final time this afternoon to intro your main event.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome everybody here today to the spiritual home of British boxing, York Hall, in the East End of London, England, for the official weigh-in for our big night of world-class professional boxing taking place at the Copper Box on Saturday night. And it's now time to weigh in the main event of the evening, as Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing is proud to present 10 rounds in the heavyweight division. Now making his way to the stage, his professional record, 12 victories, only 1 defeat, 11 of his 12 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Rovinja, Croatia. Here is the exciting and hard-hitting former world title challenger, Alen the Savage Babic. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. His professional record, perfect. 11 fights, 11 victories, 10 of his 11 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the reigning Southern Area heavyweight champion, the 6'5" big man fighting out of Romford, Essex, England, Johnny the Romford Bull Fisher. And out of the scale, the Savage, Alen Babic! 216.4 for the Savage, Alen Babic. And now to the scale, the undefeated heavyweight from Essex, the Romford Bull, Johnny Fisher. 240.5 for Johnny Fisher, 240.5 for the undefeated Romford Bull.
Well, here we go, Darren. The talking very nearly over. Your main event tomorrow night live on DAZN is Johnny Fisher versus Alen Babic. The Romford Bull versus the Savage from the Copper Box in London. Let's bring them face to face for the final time before they meet in the ring tomorrow night live, of course, on DAZN.
Johnny Fisher, the Savage, Alen Babic, 10 rounds, heavyweights, main event, Matchroom Boxing, live on DAZN from London, England.
Alen?
Yes.
You said when this fight was first announced that it was a gift from God. Do you stand by that?
No, I said it was a gift from the gods.
A gift from the gods. And what do you mean by that?
By many gods that live in my head. And I can't wait to get back on my path. My path was beautiful, and then it was ruined, and now this is my ticket back, and I turned this into a savage show.
How do you plan on silencing this crowd that Johnny Fisher is going to bring tomorrow night?
It's going to be very painful for them. I feel bad for them because Savage will be released, and I feel bad for this little crowd over here. I feel bad for all of you. I feel bad for all of you guys.
Final prediction, Alan. What is the verdict going to be?
I hope it's going to be a glorious 10-round war. And we're going to spend a week in hospital, both of us. I hope, brother.
All the best.
Well, let's bring in Mr. Johnny Fisher. Johnny, firstly, your message to this crowd, everything you do, they come out and support you, they show your love. What do you want to say to them? One sleep away now.
I've got one question. Who's ready for a scrap at the Copper Bosh? Bash!
You've been cool, calm and collected, Johnny, throughout the whole build-up and even in this fight week as well. But now you're here. Does this feel bigger? Does this feel like the biggest moment of your career?
Every single one of my fights is bigger than the last one. We've got to keep building in the right direction. My only job on Saturday night is to defeat Alen Babic, and that is what I'm going to do.
Alan keeps saying that this is a big mistake, that you've made a mistake. You have, Eddie has, Mark Tibbs has, your dad has. What is your response to that, Johnny Fisher? What is he underestimating about the Romford Bull?
There's no mistakes have been made yet because we haven't fought. We'll see if there's a mistake in the first round when I'm landing level on his chin.
He says he's going to be right on your chest, Johnny. How do you deal with that, and what is your final prediction? How do you beat him tomorrow night?
Listen, he's going to bring the heat. He's a worthy opponent. I've got respect for the opponent, but the respect for the opponent demands my best performance. So I'll beat him any way I can, any way I want, and that's what I'm going to do.
Final message to this support, how would you sum it up?
Thank you to everyone who's come out to support, paid your hard-earned money for a ticket. I'll do it for all you guys. You make the difference. Romford Bull Army forever. Bash!
Johnny Fisher, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget, there is so much coming your way on DAZN, not just tomorrow night at the Copper Box with Johnny Fisher and Alen Babic. William Zepeda also in action across the pond a little later on in the evening as well. DAZN very much right now is your home of boxing. We are on the stage. I haven't got a monitor, so I'm sort of winging it a little bit here, but we are going to bring in promoter Eddie Hearn. Darren Barker's here as well for a quick word. Eddie, as I said to Johnny there, whatever he seems to do, there seems to be a great support. And we talked about yesterday when you signed a 21-year-old kid from Romford, you're like, look, I think he's going to be a fan favourite. How would you describe your excitement ahead of tomorrow night?
It's going to be wild tomorrow. Listen, I love Alen Babic as well. What a great character, what a competitor, and he does everything he says he's going to do. But tomorrow he's going to come in close contact with a very good world-class heavyweight prospect with 7,000 of his Romford Bull Army in the Copper Bosh, and it's going to be absolutely wild. It's a real fight. It's a real heavyweight fight that's captured the imagination, not just of the Romford Bull Army, but of boxing, of the wider media outlets as well, of the sporting world, because it's competitive. It's a good, solid, young heavyweight stepping up against a very tough man. Brilliant undercard. Honestly, you know, this is supposed to be a next-gen show. It's pumped up to a huge crowd with some crackers on there tomorrow night. It's going to be a great night of boxing following a great win from England as well, and a real heavyweight test. I think this fight's over inside 3 rounds. I really do. Alan's going to do what he always does, and there's no way Johnny's just going to be able to keep his composure and keep it long. He likes to stand and trade. Bombs are going to fly tomorrow night and someone's getting ironed out.
It's got to be such a buzz for you as a promoter when you see this sort of turnout for a weigh-in on a Friday afternoon, knowing that if he was to come through Alen Babic, the big test, there's a very bright future for you and Johnny Fisher.
Yeah, I mean, look, these is the kind of fights that you would expect to have in the York Hall. Right, we've got the weigh-in in the York Hall, and tomorrow night we're in the Copper Bosh with 6,000 or 7,000. So we know that victory against the likes of Alen Babic can take him into fights with, I don't know, David Adelaide, Fraser Clark, Fabio Wardley. They're fights that fill up the Copper Box and fill up the O2 Arena. So Johnny's ceiling is very, very high. But honestly, like, as good as the support is and as good as it is to sell tickets, I'm looking at him as someone that could go deep in the division. When he came into the sport, he had a lot of assets that were important for a heavyweight. Right, he could punch, he had fast hands, he had a good engine, and he had a great chin. Over the years, he's matured as a fighter, he's improved with Mark Tibbs, he's a bright guy, he's had all the top-level sparring around the world. honestly, I thought if he could win a Southern Area title, maybe fight for the British title when he turned pro. He had 2 amateur fights. I think one of them was down the local university. Now we're seeing a guy that actually looks like a world-class heavyweight prospect. If he doesn't win a British and European title, I think he's actually underperformed. So I'm interested in Johnny Fisher, the world-class heavyweight. The support, the energy, the tickets is an incredible asset to have. But tomorrow night we'll see how good he really is, because he comes on top for the first time. And it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of excited people, but a lot of people with a squeaky bottom as this fight gets underway.
Don't wear those trousers.
Right, he can talk. Look at him. Well, we cannot wait. 4:40 p.m. Matchroom and DAZN YouTube channels, of course, for Before the Bell. With the England-Switzerland game sandwiched in the middle, 7 p.m. for the live DAZN broadcast. This is the knockout stage. This is the Ron for Ball versus the Savage. This is Johnny Fisher versus Alen Babic. It's all live from the Copper Box, or the Copper Bosch, whatever you want to call it, this week. But of course, all live right here on DAZN. From myself, Jamie Ward, Darren Barker, Eddie Hearn. We'll see you tomorrow.
You are now looking at a real international prospect.
I will not take a step back.
So physically strong, Fisher.
Serge, wanna do a number on him.
Fisher going for the finish.
Make sure you strap in, because every single fight's going to be explosive.
I go in there and I finish people.
Very, very impressive finish.
It's about to get really serious. It's about to get really exciting. This fight will end by knockout.
Boxing on DAZN, brought to you by William Hill.
Well, I'm saying, you went before that. No, but you gotta be revived. That's what I'm saying.
And is
Where should they see? Where my father greatest team the world has ever seen.
With by far the greatest team the world has ever seen.
Where should they see? Where my father greatest team
the world has ever seen.
Where my father greatest team the world has ever seen.
Make the most of summer at your local Mercedes-Benz showroom. Join us and unlock our best offers, like on the A-Class range from £299 a month. Plus, take advantage of the longer summer days with an extended test drive. Visit us in store or search the online showroom. Choose, buy, drive. Your new Mercedes-Benz.
Boxing on DAZN, brought to you by William Hill.